Hey guys, welcome back. So 2018 has come to an end, which I don't know how that happens so freaking fast, but that also means that it is time that I share one of my favorite videos to film during the entire year, and that is my yearly favorites. So at the end of the year, I assess all of the makeup that I've been loving and gather it all together to pick the best of the best products. So the products I'm going to share in today's video are definitely the products that are like my most favorite products, the ones that I used the most throughout the entire year of 2018. So really like my ride or die makeup products, and I am so excited to share all these products with you guys. So I hope everyone had a great start to the new year. I hope that you wrote down all your goals and that you're working towards achieving them already. One of my goals is definitely to be more on schedule with my videos. I want to upload every Wednesdays and Sundays. I am trying to do so, but it is really hard because, as you guys know, I also started my online shop this year, so I have a lot of things on my plate. But yeah, I am so excited for the new year and what's in store for us. But since this video is going to be so long, I would definitely recommend you guys getting some drinks, a snack, because this video is going to be so freaking long. I have so much stuff to go through. So I'm just going to stop rambling on and get on into my 2018 favorites. Alright, so for this video, I do have everything from makeup to a few skincare items and also perfume and nails. So I have a little bit of everything. It's also a mixture of high-end and drugstore. So yeah, you can imagine that we have a lot of things to go through. And I do plan on going through these products the way that I would apply them on my face. So starting from primer up into lips and skincare. So let's go ahead and get on into the first category, which is primer. By the way, not all of these products necessarily launched in 2018. These are just the products that I personally loved and used the most throughout the year. Some of these are actually like favorites that I had last year as well. So yeah, so talking about a favorite that I had last year as well, one of the primers that I still love and use a lot is the Farsali Unicorn Essence. This is that typical primer that you see a lot on like Instagram and stuff. It has like a pink shift to it and also a little bit of shimmer, and it smells really good. But what I love about this primer is that it is so good for people with dry skin, which me during the winter time, I definitely have dry skin. When it is a little bit hotter outside, I do have more of like combination skin, but during the winter time, this is definitely the primer that I use most because it is super hydrating, it feels really nice, and it also provides a nice tacky base for my foundation to stick to, which is why I really love this primer. And it is also like such a fun product to use, I don't know. So yeah, I guess this is like a two-time winner, but I freaking love it still. And then the second primer is one that I discovered this year, and it is from the drugstore. This is the Essence Prime and Studio Glow Boosting and Pore Minimizing Primer. Cannot speak, with pink clay. This is one of their newest releases that they came out with, and from the moment I tried it out for the first time, I was obsessed with it. If you have dry skin, you need to try this out. I know they also have one that is more mattifying if you prefer that, if you have like more oily skin, but this is such a good primer for those of you with dry skin and that are on a budget, or you just like testing out makeup that is from the drugstore. This is an amazing one, so affordable. And yeah, the only downside is that it does have a strong like perfume like scent to it. So if you are very like sensitive to scents, you might not like this, but for me, I don't really mind it, and this is such a good primer. Definitely the best one that I discovered this year. Alright, so then moving on to foundation. I'm going to shake them up, but again, I have two foundations that I really love this year. So I'm going to start off with the drugstore one, and this is the Catrice HD Liquid Radiance Foundation. And I have the shade Natural Beige here, which is a little bit too dark for me, but this foundation is really great. They also have a more like mattifying version of this, which they had previously in their collection, but now they also added the more Radiance one, which again I tested out in that Catrice testing video, and I really love this. The only downside is that the shade range pretty much sucks, and that's almost always the case with Essence like Catrice. So that is a downside, but the foundation is so good. Again, if you have dry skin, this is amazing. The consistency and formula is very liquidy, but once you start blending this into your skin, it leaves a beautiful radiance. But it doesn't look too overly like greasy or dewy. It just looks so like natural and radiant, and it also lasts a really long time on my skin. And again, super affordable. So I would highly recommend this if you have dry skin again. And then for people that have more combination to oily skin, I would definitely recommend the Fenty Beauty. What is this? The Pro Filt'r Soft Matte Longwear Foundation. I am in the shade 170. But this foundation, when I tried it for the first time in the testing Fenty Beauty makeup video, I wasn't really a big fan of it. And in that video, I said that I wouldn't recommend it, but it's almost completely empty, so I guess I changed my mind on it. This is a foundation that I love for like in the summertime, or when I know that my foundation has to stay on for like a really long time, then this is definitely the one that I go for. It has like a beautiful like semi-matte finish that is more natural. The shade matches me perfectly, so that's also why I really love it, and it just stays on my skin the entire day, and by the end of the day my foundation still looks beautiful, so that is why I really love this. So again, if you're more oily, this is the one I would go for. If you're more dry, definitely check out this one. Alright, so then moving on to the next category, which is concealer. I have a few of them to share with you guys. The first one is more of a corrector, and again I shared this last year in my yearly favorites video, but this is the Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector, which looks like this on the inside. Now if you're like me and you have pretty dark under eye circles, these lights are like cancelling it out, but trust me, I have pretty dark under eye circles, then this is amazing to apply before you apply your regular concealer, because this has like a very peachy undertone and it really cancels out all the blue and purples underneath my eyes, which is why I love using this, especially when I didn't get enough sleep. This is amazing because it does get rid of that darkness. And it also is a little bit tacky, so you definitely have to go over with another concealer, and you definitely want to set this. So then, speaking of concealer, I only have affordable options, which is great. So the first one is the Colourpop No Filter Concealer. Again, this is a two-time winner because last year I mentioned it as well, and this is in the shade Light 10. I think this is my third or fourth bottle, so I do go through this pretty quickly because it doesn't really have that much product in it. There's only 5 grams of product in here, so not really that much. And this concealer also oxidizes, so keep that in mind. But this is such a good concealer. I really enjoy the formula because it has a high coverage, but it doesn't feel or look too dry and cakey underneath the eyes, which is why I love it. And I think this is only like $5 or $6, so inexpensive. And then my next concealer is by Essence. And these are the Camouflage Plus concealers. So I have 2 of the Healthy Glow versions, and I also have 1 of the matte versions. And honestly, I love them both. If I can be completely honest, I don't really notice that much of a difference between the matte or the Healthy Glow version. So I have 3 of them right here. I have the Healthy Glow in Light Ivory and Light Neutral, and then the matte one in Light Ivory. The only downside with this concealer is that the shade range sucks. I mean, I think there were only 3 shades, and I have the 2 lightest ones, which are still very light for me. So that definitely says a lot about their color range. But the formula of these concealers is so good. These have so much pigment to them, even more than the Colourpop one, which I just threw away. And they are so easy to blend. They are very lightweight, and again, they don't look heavy underneath the eyes. So those are definitely my favorite concealers that I discovered this year. Alright, so now I'm going to drink a little bit because my voice, I'm speaking a lot in this video. Alright, so then the next category is setting powder, and I actually have 2 Colourpop powders right here. So the first one is the Colourpop No Filter Setting Powder, and this is in translucent. So this is basically like a loose setting powder, and I really enjoy this underneath the eyes to set my concealer. It is what I use today to set my under eyes in place, and it is so lightweight and so finely milled. I really love it, and again, for the price, you can't beat this. So this is definitely one of the loose powders that I have used most throughout the year. And then to set the rest of my face, I loved the Colourpop No Filter Sheer Pressed Powder. But again, this wasn't like an instant hit for me. I got this in the summertime and it didn't work on my skin back then because again, I get very oily in the summertime. But now that my skin is a little bit drier, this powder works perfectly with my skin. It doesn't work with the Colourpop foundation because I don't really like that. But with any of my other foundations, this powder works so good. You do have to keep in mind that it is very like hardly pressed into the pen, so you do have to like go hand with your brush to pick up the product. But once you go through like the first layer, you're totally fine, and that is what I have right here. Like I went through the first layer and now I can pick up quite some product, but it is a sheer powder, so keep that in mind. But again, it is so beautiful to set your makeup with. It is what I use today, and I like it a lot. Alright, so then moving on to bronzer and contour and stuff. I again have a few products to talk about, but the first product is the Catrice Shape in a Box contouring palette. I have the shade Light right here. So what I love about this palette is that the contouring shade is perfect for my skin tone. It is again what I'm wearing right now. But then this first shade right here, I use that to like clean up my contour after I'm done with bronzing and stuff. I just apply a little bit underneath and it just really helps to sharpen everything up. So I have been loving this palette. I've been using it every single day since I tried it out and I just cannot live without this anymore. And it's also really not powdery or anything like that. This is just great, and again, so inexpensive. And then for actual bronzer to warm up my skin, from the drugstore, I still love my Butter Bronzers by Physicians Formula. Again, I featured this last year in my favorites, but this bronzer is just so beautiful. It has like the perfect undertone to it where it works both as a bronzer and a contour shade. It smells really good, and again, I have the shade Bronzer, but I also picked up a new shade, which is Sunkissed Bronzer, which is a little bit darker, and I also really love this shade right here. So I definitely had to mention my Butter Bronzers again. And I also heard that they're releasing more darker shades and more deeper shades, which is great because their shade range used to really suck. Like, this used to be the darkest shade they had, which is not dark whatsoever, so I'm really happy that they finally expanded their range. And then for a more high-end bronzer, I used this bad boy a lot this year, and this is the Too Faced Sun Bunny Radiant Duotone Bronzer. First of all, this new packaging that Too Faced did is freaking gorgeous. It looks so luxurious. And then this is a product right here, which again is such a beautiful bronzer for my skin tone. I do have to be a little bit careful with it because I can go very bronzer happy with this one. But the formula is so good, and this has like a slight sheen to it, which again, I freaking love. So yeah, I had to mention this bronzer. Alright, then moving on to blush. None of these came out in 2018, but I've used these two so much that I had to mention them. So first I have the Milani Powder Blush in Romantic Rose. This is something I picked up back when I was living in Toronto, and it is so beautiful. It looks like a flower, and I just got myself reaching for this blush a lot during this year, so of course I had to give it an honorable mention. And then the other blush that I really enjoy is the Natasha Denona blush. This is a blush duo palette in the shade 16, which looks like this on the inside. Again, this one has a very strong scent to it, so if you are prone to scents, you might not like this as much, but I love this. I mixed both of them together, which looks absolutely beautiful on my skin tone. The formula is amazing. Yeah. There's nothing bad I can say about it. I really love this. And then moving on to my favorite category, which of course is highlight. I had a really hard time narrowing it down to two, but I managed to do it. So the first one is a Drugstore gem, and this is the Essence Glow To Go highlighter palette in Sunkissed Glow. You guys, this is the best drugstore highlighter ever. Like, this palette right here is so affordable and so good. It's also a very versatile palette because you have these darker shades but then also these lighter shades. I personally always mix these two shades together, which just creates a beautiful, beautiful highlight. I will swatch it right here, but it is just freaking stunning. The quality is so good. It's not powdery whatsoever. It's creamy, it's buttery, it glides on the face. It is just freaking stunning. And if you haven't checked it out, you need to, because you're missing out big time. And then for a more high-end highlighter, I definitely have to give it to the ABH and Amrezy highlighter. This used to be limited edition if I'm not mistaken, but they are bringing it back in their permanent range, which is so freaking awesome. This packaging is beautiful, and then this is the highlight right here, which, I mean, doesn't that just look heavenly? That is just so again, I'll give it a swatch. There is no denying that glow. Like, look at that. That is freaking stunning. And it also has the perfect undertone for my skin tone. Like, it is a golden highlight, but it's not like too golden, and it has a little bit of like that champagne pearl finish to it. I just freaking love it. And this formula is like nothing else I've ever tried before. It's like more of like a gel. It's so weird, but so good. Again, this is a little bit more expensive, but if you're on the hunt for a good highlight, this is the one you should go for. Moving on to brows, I don't have anything new. I still love my Colourpop, what is this called? Brow color in Dope Taupe, and I also am still using my Colourpop Brow Wash Gel to set them. It is what I used today. And they're still my favorites. They're affordable, they're crazy good, and I would highly recommend them. So the brow color I have in the shade Dope Taupe, which is perfect for my eyebrows. And then the brow blush gel is in clear, which looks white when you first apply it on your eyebrows, but once you work it in, it just vanishes and sets your eyebrows beautifully. So again, so affordable, and this is my second or third one, and I am going to repurchase it forever, I think. Then usually once I am done with eyebrows and my skin and stuff like that, I always set my makeup. And to set my makeup, I still love my Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray, but this year I also discovered a new one, and this is the Colourpop All Star Face Setting Spray. This stuff is really good. Like, it is very comparable to the Urban Decay one in my opinion. It has this like beautiful orangey scent to it, which I freaking adore. I love the packaging, and this does such a nice job of setting my makeup. It gets rid of like any like powderiness that is left on my skin, and it also makes my makeup last all day long, which is amazing. So again, if you're on the hunt for a new setting spray, definitely check out the one by Colourpop because it is so good. And again, I think this was like $10. So it is really inexpensive. And then when it comes to eyeshadow primer, I again don't have anything new to mention. These are still the ones that I go for. So I have the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion in Eden, which is in my opinion the best eyeshadow primer. It provides a beautiful even canvas, and it just makes your eyeshadows pop. And then when I'm using glitter or like a more foiled eyeshadow, I almost always use my glitter primer. This is super sticky and makes the glitter or whatever I am using really stick to it and stand out even more. So yeah, these are the best eyeshadow primers in my opinion, and I've used and loved these for years. When it comes to eyeshadows, I have a few palettes to talk about, like a lot actually. I don't really like single eyeshadows that much, which is why I have a ton of palettes to talk about. So I'm going to start off with Colourpop. They released 3 eyeshadow palettes this year that really stood out to me, so I thought I would mention those. So my all-time #1 favorite eyeshadow palette by Colourpop is hands down the Dream Street palette. This was in collaboration with Kathleen Lights. I did an entire video on that collection. So if you're interested in that, definitely check out the videos that are up on my channel. But this is what the palette looks like on the inside. These shades are right up my alley. I love these tones, and I think Kathleen did such a nice job creating this palette. It is both an everyday palette as well as like a more dramatic palette. I love it. I love it. I love it. And the quality of Colourpop eyeshadows is so good. They are such a dream to work with. So yeah, this is definitely my #1 favorite palette by Colourpop. But then I also really love the Fame eyeshadow palette which they released. This is what it looks like on the inside, and as you guys can see, this is definitely more of a cool tone palette. And I actually discovered this year that even though warm tones look better on my eyes, that I also really enjoy creating cool toned eye looks as well. So yeah, this palette was definitely one that I really loved this year. These shades are beautiful. I'm going to swatch a few of them, but the quality again is so good. Like, there's nothing that beats Colourpop, especially considering their price point. So yeah, definitely Colourpop eyeshadows in general win this year. But this was also a palette that I used a lot. And then another palette that I actually really loved is the Disney palette that they came out with. This is the It's a Princess Thing shadow palette. At first I really bought it for the packaging, and I didn't think I would use it that much, to be completely honest, but I actually find myself reaching for this palette quite often because it has these like beautiful transition shades. It has a lot of like neutral shades that you could wear on an everyday basis with just a few pops of color here and there. And yeah, again, like, this quality is insane. Look at that. That silver is out of this world. So yeah, just a few swatches of that palette, but again, there's no denying this quality. I just think that Colourpop does such a nice job creating products, and that is why I am mentioning a lot of their products, because it is just really good. And considering the price point, I just really cannot recommend it enough. Then the next palette is definitely more of a recent discovery, and this is the Naked Cherry by Urban Decay. Even though I discovered this more towards the end of the year, I think this is such an amazing palette. Again, the packaging is so beautiful, and this is what the palette looks like on the inside. I used this in my New Year's Eve makeup tutorial, so if you're interested in seeing it in action, then definitely check out that video. But this is such a good palette. The quality is amazing, and I think Urban Decay did such a great job selecting these shades. So I definitely think this will be a new favorite Naked palette of mine. I love these shades so freaking much, and the quality was just really good. They blended like a dream. Alright, and then I also can't forget about the Soft Glam palette by ABH. This came out more towards the beginning of this year, and again I filmed an entire video dedicated to this palette. but this is what the shades look like on the inside. And again, these are just shades that are right up my alley. Like these two right here are beautiful, beautiful, like foiled shades. The mattes in here are beautiful. Like these are just shades that I would wear on an everyday basis again. And yeah, I've actually used this palette a lot this year, so of course I had to mention that. And then the last palette I have to mention is a crazy super affordable one, and this is the Essence Beautiful eyeshadow palette. This is again something that came out in the newest update that they did, and these are the shades right here. Again, these shades are like perfect for an everyday look. But you can also make it a little bit smoky thanks to the black right here. But the quality of these eyeshadows is just freaking beautiful. Like especially the mattes for a drugstore palette, that is freaking insane. But also the shimmers are beautiful. I just really enjoy using this palette. So yeah, of course I couldn't forget about it in this video. I also plan on filming an Essence like best and worst eyeshadow palettes that they currently have out. So definitely let me know in the comments down below if you would be interested in that. And then when it comes to eyelashes and mascara and stuff, I have two mascaras that I really loved during the year of 2018. So the first one is the CoverGirl Supersizer Mascara. If you guys didn't know, CoverGirl recently went cruelty free. But I had this before they went cruelty free. I was just trying to use it up. But this is what the wand looks like, and this mascara adds so much volume and length to your lashes. It's absolutely crazy. It also does a really great job of separating my lashes. It doesn't make them look clumpy or anything like that. So that is why I freaking loved this mascara. And then I also discovered a new one by Essence that I really enjoyed, and this is the I Need a Miracle Volumizing and Strengthening Mascara. Now with this mascara you do have to be careful because it can get a little bit clumpy. This is the one right here, which is a very big wand. But this mascara adds so much volume to my lashes. I freaking love it. But I do always combine it with something that is a little bit less clumpy and more separating, such as the Supersizer by CoverGirl. So these two together are a great combo. And then when it comes to false eyelashes, again, I don't really have any new ones to talk about. I used the same ones from last year, and I am still using my House of Lashes eyelash adhesive. In my opinion, this is the best one that exists. You do have a lot of residue afterwards because it is so strong, so the residue is kind of hard to get off your lashes. But whenever I use this, I am just 100% certain that my eyelashes will last throughout the entire day, which is why I really love this. And compared to the duo adhesive, this one smells way better, like way better. Alright, so then it's time to move on to the last makeup category, which of course is lip products. So I actually did a pretty good job narrowing it down because I am a lipstick junkie. I'm obsessed with lip products, so it was really hard for me to narrow it down, but I did. So I'm going to start off with the gloss that I really liked, and this is the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb in Fenty Glow. As a kid, I used to collect lip smackers, and this reminds me exactly of that, just with a better formula. The scent reminds me of that. Also the shade reminds me of it a little bit. So it is a beautiful shade that looks very glossy, but this just smells so freaking good, and also the packaging is beautiful. Like Rihanna did such a good job on the packaging. I freaking love that. But this shade is beautiful, and again, I wore it a lot this year since I have been getting into glosses more recently. Then I also discovered a new formula by Colourpop that I really loved, and these are the blotted lips. So they did these a while ago, but then they stopped making them, and then they did a collab with Ava Katowski, which is My Life as Ava on YouTube, and she released a few ultra blotted lips, and this shade in particular, called Love Bite, is one that I have been wearing ever since I filmed the review on this collection. This is the shade that I have just been wearing the most, so I'm going to try and swatch it. This is it swatched right here, but the ultra blotted lips are so difficult to describe. You just really have to try it for yourself because it is so unique. Like, it dries down completely on your lips, but it looks a little bit sheer unless you build it up, and also you just don't feel it sitting on your lips. It is so weird. But yeah, this shade just looks freaking beautiful, and I wore the crap out of this year, so of course, again, I had to mention it. These are so good. And then Colourpop also released the Luxe lipsticks this year. I've tried a bunch of them, but my favorite one is Third Eye, which is a matte one. So these have like cream finishes and then also matte finishes. So this is one of the matte ones. This packaging is freaking beautiful. Again, considering that these are like, I think $7, this packaging is beautiful. It has a little bit of weight to it. And this is what Third Eye looks like. So again, I'll give it a swatch, but it is just a beautiful everyday shade for me. For some, this might be a little bit too dark for everyday, but I just freaking love this shade. The formula is so comfortable to wear. It lasts a pretty long time, not as long as liquid lipsticks, but it is still pretty long lasting. And again, the shade is beautiful and the formula feels so good on the lips. Like, it is not drying whatsoever. And then of course I have 3 liquid lipsticks to talk about. How could I not? I am obsessed with liquid lipsticks. So the first one is the one I'm wearing right now, and this is the Ofra long-lasting liquid lipstick in the shade Bel Air. So I've had this for a while, but I really just discovered this shade this year because I've been wearing, again, the crap out of it. Especially during the summertime, I wore it a lot. This is it right here. This formula is more of like a moussey formula. Like, it is a little bit sticky, but again, it doesn't dry out the lips. It feels pretty comfortable. And this shade is like my perfect nude. And even though for some people this might be a little bit too dark for an everyday shade, this is like my perfect nude. For me, this is a perfect everyday shade that goes perfectly with my skin tone. And yeah, I've just been grabbing this a ton this past year. Then another one that I discovered this yeer is the Kat Von D Everlasting Liquid Lipstick in Julia. Now, most of you know by now that I freaking love her formula, but this shade in particular is so beautiful. So this is it swatched right here. This was a part of her Farm Sanctuary collection, which was a collection that donated a lot of the proceeds to a farm sanctuary. And I picked up this shade, which is called Julia, which I think was a pick if I'm not mistaken. I used it in the tutorial that I filmed today on this eye look. I used the Mary Poppins palette by Primark in that video, and I paired it with this liquid lipstick, which is just so beautiful. So again, I had to mention it. I don't know if it is still available. I hope so, because it is such a cool and like unique shade in my opinion. Like, it's really vibrant, but it is still a little bit toned down at the same time. It's really unique. Alright, and then for those of you that are looking for the perfect red lipstick, look no further. The Too Faced Melted Matte in Lady Balls is the best red liquid lipstick that I have ever come across. Like, this has the perfect undertone for a red lipstick. So this is it right here. The formula of this is really good. I've talked about the melted mattes numerous times on my channel, but this shade is just the perfect tone of red. It's dark, but at the same time it's still a little bit like vibrant. I don't know, it's really hard to describe, but this is a kind of red that doesn't make my teeth look yellow, on the contrary, and it stays on all day long. Like, you don't have to worry about it budging or smudging. It is like bulletproof. Alright, so those were all the makeup products. Now I have a few more like skincare and miscellaneous products. So the first ones I wanted to talk about are the Max & More gel polishes. Ever since they sent these to me and I tried them out, I can't get enough. The formula of these is so good. They last on my nails like for over a week, and they're like just regular nail polishes that don't need a lamp or anything. So these are my 2 favorite shades right here. The pink one is Work It, which is what I'm wearing right now, and then you also have Alt Control, which is a beautiful like more cool tone shade, and then this is the top coat that goes with it. Whenever I use these with a top coat, they last for such a long time on my nails. Like, I am impressed by these, and they are so affordable. Like, I think these are like €1, maybe less. Like, it's crazy how affordable these are and how good they are, so I had to mention them. If you can get your hands on Max & More, definitely try these out. Alright, so then moving on to skincare. These are the 2 products that really stood out to me. I got these at DM, which is like a German drugstore, and these are by the brand Alverde, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Alverde. So this is their olive face oil, and then this is their olive eye cream. And these are so freaking great. They are so affordable, first of all. I think these were each like €6. But they're so good. So this brand is cruelty free. They have like all natural ingredients, and this face oil smells really good, first of all, but it does such a nice job of hydrating my skin, especially when it is like really dull and dry. Whenever I apply this, it just makes my skin look all nice and dewy and fresh, and yeah, I just really love this. And then the eye cream again is so good. I've been using it non-stop ever since I got it, and there is still a lot left. You don't need a lot. It is super moisturizing. It's lightweight. These are just 2 great products that I discovered this year, and I definitely will repurchase these. And when it comes to a face cream, I know this is like more of a recent discovery, but this is the Pacifica Becca Crystal Youth Gem Infused Face Lotion. I've been using this the past couple of weeks and I love it. This is definitely the face cream that I enjoyed the most this year. Even though it is a more recent discovery, this is so good. Again, it is lightweight, but it does a great job at moisturizing. It makes my skin glow at the same time. It is vegan, it is cruelty free, the packaging is adorable. There is nothing bad I can say about this product. My skin hasn't been breaking out from it. On the contrary, it has been getting a little bit better. Again, this is crazy affordable. If you live in the US, you can get this at Ulta. Also at Target, I think. This is just such a good brand in general, and this is a great face lotion. Alright, so then for body care, this was definitely something that stood out this year, and this is the Sol de Janeiro Ipanema Sunset Glow Oil. So I used this on my vacation in Italy and I freaking loved it. This oil, first of all, smells really good. Oh, this takes me back on vacation. I love this scent. But as you guys can see, this oil is like very shimmery and very bronzy. So whenever I apply this, I just look so tanned and so like shimmery and glowy and dewy and fresh. I love it. It makes my skin look so good in pictures. If you're going on a vacation where you plan on taking a lot of pictures, definitely get this because it will make you look like a bronzed goddess. It is a little bit expensive, like this was not cheap, and it is a little bit sticky, but it doesn't transfer onto your clothes or anything like that. So yeah, I would highly recommend this. Moving on to the last category, finally. I almost have no voice left. I have two perfumes right here. So the first one is the Daisy Marc Jacobs Oh So Fresh Twinkle. I've talked about this again during the year. I got this for my birthday, I think, and honestly, I can't get enough. This smells so good. Again, this takes me back to the summertime when I wore it a lot, but this smells like the Daisy perfume, if you're familiar with that, but with like a violet twist to it. Oh, it smells freaking delicious. And this bottle, come on, how cute is that? And then the other perfume is the Pacifica Hawaiian Ruby Guava perfume. I got this for Christmas, but my mom actually already owned it, so I used to steal this from her. This is such a good perfume and the lasting power is amazing. Like the Daisy one doesn't last all day long. This, if you spray it on your clothing, the next day you can still smell it. Like it is so potent, but I don't get a headache from it because I can easily get migraines, especially if a perfume is too like strong for me. But this one doesn't give me headaches. It is just beautiful. And I also really love combining all of my Pacifica perfumes together. Oh, these are just so good, and again, cruelty-free, vegan, affordable. I love this brand. Alright guys, so now we are finally at the end of this video. Honestly, I have like no energy left in my body and my voice is almost completely gone. I've been sitting here for over like an hour, I think. An hour and a half, I don't know, but a long time. So yeah, I'm going to wrap up this video here. Let me know in the comments down below what some of your favorites were throughout the year. Is there anything that I loved that you loved too? Let me know. And also leave me any video requests that you have for me this year down below in the comments. That way I know what to film. And yeah, thank you guys so much for this awesome year. I love 2018 and I cannot wait what 2019 has in store for me. There will be a lot of changes coming, especially when it comes to my online store, so keep an eye out for that. But yeah, I cannot wait to play around with more makeup in 2019, see what makeup comes out, and just make awesome content for you guys. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and sticking around this year. I love you, and I will see you all in my next video. Mwah. Bye guys.
Say that it feels right.